Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us. It really is a pleasure serving you nationwide on the web. One thing I wanted to do this morning, and I was thinking about it, and I get some of these goofy ideas as I'm either in the shower or walking into the dealership in the morning, but so many of you give us that confidence, not only in the product, in myself, in our store, and buy this Corvette, not only sight unseen, many of you have never even sat in a new Stingray or a Z06, let alone drive it. So nothing fancy this morning, just wanted to hop in the car and take a quick test drive with you. So let's do that right now. I love that part. Love that part. I have a number of routes that I take on test drives when we have the opportunity to do so. This particular one is more of a shorter route, not a real high speed limit street. More of just get a feel for the car. I like this particular road right here. It's right around the corner from the dealership because it has a lot of curves on it. So that's the neat thing. So when we get a chance to take someone on a test drive, this road here kind of signifies how great the car handles, how well balanced it is, even on a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And that's the one thing I try to do on a test drive is I'm not out to impress anyone, so we're not looking for high speeds and revs and burnouts and all that kind of stuff, nor do I want to be impressed like that on a test drive, because this is not a way to handle this Corvette, especially when it's not your Corvette. We hear that a lot. A lot of people have told us that do have an opportunity to take test drives at other stores across the country. They're like, oh my gosh, the salesman got in the car and he hammered on it and he scared the crap out of me. Here, let's face it, we know what the car will do. We know what it's capable of. We know what it's built to perform as such. But yet, that's not how most of us drive the car. I remember years ago, I sold a ZR1 to a gentleman, and everybody was in oohs and ahs of a ZR1 at the car shows. And wow, that's the ZR1, man. That'll go 200 plus miles an hour. Wow, hey, how fast it? He goes, you know what? It doesn't matter how fast the car goes or how fast I've gone in the car, because you know what's more important? I've got the car. I thought, you know what, man? You're right. You're exactly right. And that's what the Stingray, the Z06, the C7 era has done. I remember Taj talking about, Taj Juchter, our chief engineer of Corvette, talking about Corvette before it came out, and he made the comment, man, was he right. He says, when you see the C7 on the road, you're going to say, man, I want to have one of those. I've got to have one of those. And he's right, and that's what we get. And I remember the whole launch. Here, we're 3 years into this thing, and I remember the whole launch of the C7 Corvette, and it was a nerve-wracking time. There was all kinds of goofy drawings out there, magazines just trying to sell magazines and providing wrong renditions and wrong information just to get your attention. So there was some confusion on what this car was going to be. So I was privileged to be at the reveal in Detroit when this was unveiled, to the world, the new Stingray back in January of 2013, and the first thing I was worried about is how the car really looked. Not looking at it as a salesperson, but does this car really grab me? Am I excited about this car? But let's face it, me as an exclusive Corvette specialist now into my 21st year, I truly love this car and have a passion for Corvette and its customer. So I was an enthusiast in that audience that night. And when that guy was ripping that guitar and that red Stingray come flying out on the stage, I went, man, this is a win. And it really has been. The car is just gorgeous. It's sexy. It's edgy. And you're looking at it going, yeah, I got to have one of those. So you never get a chance to test drive the car. So I'm cruising on this car. Here's the other thing. Besides that launch that I get to talk about in the test drives, and I want to share with you now, one of the things I was skeptical about, because we had such a great frame structure in the C6, is when they're talking about, hey, the frame is 5 times stiffer. I'm like, man, how the heck is that even possible? Are you kidding me? So when I had an opportunity to drive my first Stingray, immediately I felt it. The car was more solid, more planted, better balanced. I mean, again, a win for the brand, and moving forward now with still over 60% of my personal sales are first time ever Corvette buyers. I mean, that's why they're building, 35 to 40,000 cars a year. We're not doing 10, 11, 12,000 cars a year like we were, 3 years prior to the C7 launching coming out. So in this test drive road, like I say, it's a 35 to 45 speed limit, nice cruising. The customer gets to feel what I felt. Car's balanced, planted. The smaller steering wheel gives you that confidence. For the ladies out there that are considering Corvette, and years ago your experience may have been in that car that had that multi-piece frame structure that shook, rattled, and rolled, you know, and you had that bigger steering wheel, and you just had no confidence controlling the car behind the steering wheel. Let's face it, the steering wheel sets the tone for the whole car. You feel fantastic and confident and comfortable at the steering wheel. So ladies, guys, you're in for a real treat. And it's an easy car to drive. It's a regular car to drive, and it still performs. Again, we don't have to go out and over-impress anyone. Having the car is the victory right there. I'll take folks on this route when I get a chance, just to get a feel. You know, and sometimes that's all it takes. So you'll see the car, you'll want the car, you've done the research on it. You say, yeah, I really want to buy the car, but I just want to get a feel of the car just to make sure I feel comfortable in the car. You know, and it really is a cockpit design. This is designed to be a driver's car. GM knocked it out of the park in that regard. And for folks that are familiar with Corvette in the past, maybe you sat in one, never owned it. Maybe you owned one in the past. You know, a C5, C6, and you had those supple seats that started to sag, and you didn't feel like you had support in the seat on those longer trips, because that's the neat thing about this car, is it's still a user-friendly sports car. Is now the seats have a plate that supports you. The magnesium frame in the back of the seat doesn't wibble wobble all over the place. You've got that comfort. You take your cruises. I used to have a cramping problem in my legs so bad, depending on the car. I remember one of the times that I took one of the first Stingrays to a show that en route, I think I did close to 400 miles round trip. No cramps. Felt fantastic. I think, man, this, you know, the more and more I was in the car, I was just falling in love with it. So it just gave me more confidence representing the car to you folks on the internet. And, you know, you'll see it on the internet, and then you'll come and visit our store, or maybe you'll email us, you'll call us, you'll text us, maybe you'll see us at a show. But either way, we really, truly appreciate those opportunities. I'll hear on this, I get you a quick story on the stoplight. I was test driving a gentleman that was a retired highway state patrolman, four-way stop right here. So at the four-way stop, it's 35 miles an hour all the way around. And he told me the time that he pulled over a lady right here, and he pulled her over, and she says, "What's the problem, officer? I don't understand. I know it's 35. It's 35 miles an hour. What did I do wrong?" He goes, "Yeah, that's right. It's 35. You did 35 right through the stop sign." She didn't realize there was a stop sign, so that part she didn't see. You know, and for you folks shopping on the internet, that's one of the things you look for. You know, when you go to your local dealership and there's not that enthusiasm for the car, there's not a big representation, becomes just a car. Let me tell you this, don't get frustrated. Don't let those guys ruin your passion and your desire to own the car, because that happens. Those guys just, you know, burst your bubble. Don't let them do that. There's specialists like myself and our store that take this very, very serious, and we want your business. And it's, you know, with the technology today, and, you know, with my long tenure and our reputation, it is so much easier buying this car now. And again, I can't thank everyone for the confidence, you know, that will buy this car, like I said before, sight unseen, never meeting us, never seeing the car, never driving the car, you know, flying to the museum, at the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and getting in your Corvette for the very first time. You know, that's got to be a nerve-wracking experience, but at the end of the day, it's rewarding, and you're like, wow, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad it worked out well. We just sent a car to Texas just recently, and it really was a pleasure to me, you know, because a lot of you folks feel the same way. Real nervous buying a new car online, all the things I just said, didn't meet us, didn't see us, what have you. And he says, you know, I was just really, really nervous. So they do the whole paperwork, and they pay for the car, and we ship the car, and it gets there. And he called me, he goes, "Man, just thanks." He goes, "For once, thanks for representing and delivering exactly what you said." He goes, "Wow." He goes, "That was just great. I was just so nervous." But, you know, that's the things we enjoy and we get to do, to be a part of. It's because we take our Corvette representation serious. And after all, you're on the internet searching for that stuff. So when you see our great specials and you see our efforts, this is an ever-changing market. Those are there for you and for us to do business together. So think about it. Any nervousness, any concerns you have, let us know. I lay my cards on the table. I want you to feel comfortable and confident. I want to earn your business now. I want the friends and neighbors that see you and your cool Corvette Stingray or Z06 to say, "Hey man, where'd you get it?" And you tell them, "Hey, you know what? You'll never believe it. I bought this car online and never saw it. I wired $90,000 and they shipped it to my house. This is beautiful. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. So real fortunate after 21 years having those experiences, those success stories, and those relationships with you folks and your support of not only continued business, but your referrals. And it really, really, truly means a lot. So right now I'm recording you through the PDR system that comes with the navigation. So we get this question still a lot, a little confusing if you're looking at the Chevrolet site and trying to build it and you're asking, hey, can I get just the PDR camera or can I just get the navigation? No, those are married together. They're one and the same. You order one, you're getting them both. Why they actually have separate descriptions or codes for that feature, I don't know. I mean, there are two separate options essentially, but again, they're married together and one in the production process. So you order nav, you're getting the performance data recorder. The camera is up in the mirror housing, up over here. I don't know if you saw my fingers right there. Updated software as we're driving a 2016 right now. Much more clarity. You know, even the navigation software I think is a lot better. I noticed that it's a lot easier and faster to program addresses, destinations, points of interest. A more simplified process, kind of self-populating stuff as you're typing it. Even the Bluetooth is a lot faster now too when you go ahead and sync that car. Now we'll do a little acceleration. We're not beating on a car. There we go. Got to get a little feel for it. Stay out of that red line. You know, when you're breaking in these cars, and I talked to some of the guys years ago, Corvette race team and training. You know, it's as simple as when you're breaking in your Corvette, is don't beat it, but don't baby it. Don't drive it normal. Obviously, stay out of the red line. Keep that thing for at least the 350 miles. No cruise control. Keep it under 75. You do your car some real good breaking it in that manner. But we're driving the 16, as I mentioned, with the PDR camera. You got to get a scan disc. It is located in the glove box to the left. Little slot there. Nothing bigger than 32 gigs, and you'll just get hours and hours of record capability with a 32 gig scan disc. Put it in there, and a lot of people don't realize you can view what you just recorded inside the car when you stop and you're in park. You can view all your recordings. They'll show up on the screen. You push it and play it back. And then if you want, you can take the scan disc out and you'll edit it or what have you and put it on YouTube like I've done with this one. Just a nice cruise. I mean, just a fun car. So you're comfortable driving the car. You know, the other neat thing about driving this car is the people that see you in it. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's called pride of ownership. And for those of you that don't know, again, let's go back to how many newcomers we've got, you know, with this new Stingray, the C7 generation. You know, it's a rule. It's the respect. You're buying a brand, a product. You're buying into a family. And I don't care what year it is. When you see another Corvette, how about a little courtesy wave, a little thumbs up? Yeah, that'll do you some good. Go to Corvette shows, and there's Corvettes everywhere. You get a little worn out. You might as well just glue a little hand to your car and just let it wave to people as you go by. You know, because you feel bad because you're in a parade of cars and you've got 50 coming at you and you're like, okay, wait. Yeah, but we get it. Just a little respect. A little respect. And after all, that's what this car is. This is really a reward for yourself. And we get that here at Coghlan Corvette. I get that personally. I've seen it when I first started in the business and you walked in the door and you busted your rear to save your money, and now you're to the point that I'm going to reward myself, and on the weekends I'm going to drive my Corvette. Or now I'm retired and I'm going to drive my Corvette every day, and you get the new guy salesperson. Knows nothing about the car. He's got to go back and forth to the sales manager, look at his booklet. You spend 4 hours to get a couple, 3, 4 simple questions answered while they, you know, play hide the, you know what, with the pricing structure. Not a way to buy this car, man. So again, you're online, you've seeked us out, you've seeked out a Corvette specialist, you seeked out a Corvette specialist dealer. That's us. Glad you're here, and we appreciate your opportunity and your confidence. We look look forward to doing business with each and every one of you. We'll do whatever it takes. That's the road I just came off of. So this kind of just nice little loop on this route. Like I said, nothing too fancy. It gives you a feel of the car. It'll boost that confidence that this is a sports car that you can enjoy in many different ways. With the people that we serve all across the country, some of you are much luckier than us in times, because you can drive your car every single day. You know what? At the end of the day, they've already got one Corvette museum, so drive the wheels off of it, folks. Get your money's worth. It's not gonna. You can keep your car 10 years and have 5,000 miles on it. It's not gonna make it worth that much more. You're gonna go, probably should have drove my car more. Absolutely, drive it. So as we wait at this light, let's kick up the radio a little bit. All right, radio works. You always like to test that out too in a test drive. Now the neat thing on this test drive, I was able to talk to you on the test drive. But I know as a sales professional, I like to drive first, talk to you about the car, get you pointed in the right direction. When I'm in the passenger seat, I shut up. So you drive, enjoy, feel the car. You have a question? I'll respond. In the meantime, you don't need to hear my babble. I just shut up. We both enjoy the ride. Enjoy the car. Hopefully you pull back into the dealership. You said, you know what, let's go ahead and work it out. And I'd like to take it home. You know, the one question that I never get, because the one question I never get on this car, it's because, again, I know what it's all about. So nobody says, hey, how many yards of mulch will this thing hold? Yeah, you could go grocery shopping, you can go golfing, you can go on many vacations. But hey, this car's for you, man. Thanks for the quick test drive. Thanks for joining me. Thanks again for all your support, your friendships, the relationships, the business. It means a lot. 21 years. I hope to do this another 20. So I pull in right here at Conti Corvette, Pataskala, Ohio. There's some of the cars you see there. And if you saw our recent promotion, yes, you pull right into the belly here, as I call it, and there's all the Stingray cars, part of our Shark Week promotion. Thanks for joining us, folks. Look forward to talking to you soon.